her, Katie Abram, and her husband Sam. Ivana Curzon, who's with Sarah Palin Radio. Kathy Eliza, Kathy, are you here? I wasn't sure if she picked up her pen. I was running the marathon from here to there all day, so I wasn't sure. I knew some people who came in. Kim Fletcher, Isabel Borgo, Barbara Shaw, Johanna Hart, Kathy, Kathleen, I'm so sorry, I always mess up your name. Ioano, is that right? Rose Johnson, who actually was the winner of our raffle to sit next to Michelle. Terry Calipati, who couldn't be here tonight, yet another victim. Deborah Lane. James and Karen McWilliam, Frank McNutt, Phil Miller, author of the Tea Party Papers, Jim Reynolds, Dina Scott-Berry, who's right in front of me here, Mary Werner. I just want to say a word about Mary. Mary was kind enough to get me to speak at the documentary opening of The Vanishing Oath in Chicago. It's a documentary about doctors and how they're kind of basically losing the faith in the system we have now. The job isn't what they went in for. They wanted to care for people, instead they're caring for the paperwork. That was, Mary drove me all over the place that day. And Ray and Jack Wilson. These were our VIP members tonight. Finally, I won't bore you with this. This writing about Michelle is her little press thing. And rather than say she's a conservative blogger, a syndicated columnist, I just want to say this woman has more tenacity in her little finger and is the biggest bulldog going after things. Every time she comes on TV, I mean, I live alone and I'm like cheering and I hear cheering behind me. And if I had pets, they better be cheering too. I just want to introduce Michelle. Come on down.
Thank you so much, Claudia. Hello, ladies and men. This is really ladies' night, and I am so glad to be here with all of you Moms for America on a very special, and to use an overused word by the White House, unprecedented day in American history. As some of you know, I was in Las Vegas yesterday and flew cross country to be here. I wasn't able to be here physically for the Restoring Honor Rally, but I got to watch the play-by-play on Wi-Fi while I was up in the skies, and touched down here in DC just as it was ending, so I got to see a lot of the outflow. And you can bet that all of my colleagues in the so-called mainstream media will apply their liberal mathematics to downplay the statistics, but it's obvious that it wasn't just thousands who showed up, but hundreds and hundreds of thousands of you. You know, I was also rather sad that I didn't get to see the dozen demagogue march led by that race-hustling Reverend Al Sharpton. I do have to tell you that I'm embarrassed every time that man appears on Fox News. And I have let my feelings be known about that, as I do with everything. I don't let anybody take a pass, particularly on that issue. And I have been perhaps most outspoken of all the topics that I've written about for the last 18 years in public life, in the public square, about the poison of the left's racial demagogues. And this has seeped into the public schools, of course. And that is where it begins and ends. We do not stamp out that culture of entitlement and that culture of grievance from the very beginning. Of course we're going to get what we get. My latest column was a retrospective of how the race card was exploited during Hurricane Katrina. And is it any wonder, looking back at the way that George W. Bush was smeared as somehow akin to Bull Connor, accused of ethnic cleansing, accused of causing black folks in New Orleans to engage in cannibalism, for goodness sake. All the myths and lies and fables that were told, and that the left never had to apologize for. It is a short hop from that to what you have all experienced in the last 2 years as grassroots counterinsurgents, as Tea Party members, as town hall revolters, as people who stood up and spoke truth to power and were immediately attacked as racists. Whenever I blog about the overuse of the race card by the left, I always put about 10 A's in between. Racist, racist. And you've seen it already with the Restoring Honor rally today. And you'll see it all tomorrow on all the Sunday shows. And all next week. Somebody quipped, I think over the last week, that the expiration date for the race card has arrived. I certainly pray so. And it's been one of the most heartening and inspiring developments for me to see ordinary, working people, stay-at-home moms, folks outside of the Beltway with lives outside of the political realm, getting engaged and getting down into the dirt, mano a mano with these people, and not letting them get away with their dirty smear tactics. Keep it up. And the other thing that I love is the sense of humor with which you approach your political enemies and mine. And I always go back to one of my favorite Tea Party signs. I don't think it was in San Francisco, it might be somewhere else. That said, and I use it on my blog all the time. That says, "It doesn't matter what I say, you'll call me racist anyway." I love it. I want to talk a little bit more loosely, even though my hair's up, I'm sort of figuratively letting my hair down as a working mom, and what inspires me. As many of you know, I have a 10-year-old daughter now. Double digits is hard. I know. She's 10 going on 19 already. Unfortunately, she is a sort of a congenital conservative. I didn't have to do anything. But during the last election cycle, of course, they had a little vote in their classroom, McCain or Obama. And when they asked her, she said, "I don't like either one of them." That's my girl. So I have a 10-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son. And my home office is probably a lot like the home offices of you ladies. It's just a jumble, a joyful jumble of crayon pictures, and I'm a pack rat, online and offline. I don't know if some of you noticed, but I blogged recently that my Gmail account got all used up. 80 gigabytes overflowing, people's emails were bouncing back. I can't throw things away and I can't delete. I know I should just get a separate hard drive, but techie geeky things. And I have a couple of posters that really inspire me. Many of them come from World War II, and I don't think it's a coincidence that we've got this rise of called Mama Grizzlies. Before there were Mama Grizzlies, there was National Security Moms I wrote about in the aftermath of September 11th. And one of the posters I have is a poster of Lady Liberty, and she has a baby cradled in her arm, which is swaddled in the American flag. And the slogan says, "The most dangerous place in the world is between a mother and her child.